Welcome back to the Barrel Zone. Happy Friday, everyone. Weekend is almost here. We will start the daily breakdown with the NBA slate. As always, we have 9 basketball games and 9 baseball games. Pretty interesting slate, nothing special, but I think there are a few good spots we can attack. So let's start the breakdown with the Indiana Pacers at the Orlando Magic. Pacers laying 4.5 points on the road. Yeah, it's this is a really difficult game to bet in my opinion. Turner is already out for the Pacers. I think he's one of the better defensive players in the entire league and by far the best defensive player on this team. Everyone else is like meh. Turner out is a huge downgrade, and Brogdon and Sabonis are both questionable. They missed the 3 and 4 games. Yeah, I don't think you can touch this before an injury update. On the Orlando side, most of the guys are back, but obviously they traded their best players. Team is 3-7 in the last 10. They are holding on to the fourth worst record right now. But I've seen some effort at least. So this isn't like a team that's fully given up on everything. I think the guys are trying to play at least. If we turn around and Brogdon someone is not being 100%, I think this is a stay away game. And I think at 4.5, actually, there is some value on Orlando. I mean, even if just Turner is out, the Pacers are hurt a ton. But if Brogdon and Sabonis are both announced out and you can grab like a 4.5, I don't think that's the worst idea ever. Obviously, I'm staying away. Way too many games. Memphis Grizzlies at the New York Knicks. This is a great game. I have a relatively huge number edge here. You can get Knicks +2 at multiple shops. And I make this Knicks -1. So it's a 3-point edge, but I'm not going to play it. And I tell you why. So yeah, Memphis, I'm kind of high on them. They won 4 straight. This is a team that you cannot really trust, but I think they are trending in the right direction. Although this spot is very difficult for them. So Clark is doubtful. Melton and Winslow are both out, and Morant isn't healthy. No matter what anyone is saying, he did shoot better in the last game, but I mean he didn't take a shot in the first 15 minutes or something. He had 3-4 terrible shooting games before that. His back is visibly hurting, but he's playing lower minutes. I think the minutes are distributed a bit better. He's passing a bit more. He had like a couple of 10 assist games recently, despite playing lower minutes. And I always bashed Memphis for, their best player, Morant, not being an efficient offensive player, and that's, I think, still true. But him dishing out the ball and having a lower usage rate certainly helps them. So yeah, they won 4 straight. They have a +8.4 point differential in the last 8 games, and out of those 8 games, they played Utah 3 times. So I think that's something you have to note. The injuries are kind of important in this matchup. Obviously, they are giving up some size. Knicks, a strong rebounding team. Rebounding will likely be equal. Overall, through the season, Memphis faced the 14th toughest schedule, while the Knicks faced the 27th. So, yeah, it's a huge difference. And as I said, I like the Knicks, but I'm really not that high on them, and I could see them go on a bigger losing streak to end the season. Memphis also with the better turnover rate. I'm just passing on this game because as a team I'm higher on Memphis, but this spot isn't really good for them, and I think Morant ideally needs to get healthy. But I don't fault anyone for going in with the Knicks. They shouldn't be dogs in this matchup with just Robinson out. Minnesota Timberwolves at the Boston Celtics. 8.5 is the spread. I make this 9.5, but not going to touch it. The matchup I think it's okay for the Celtics. They are 4th in offensive rebounding. Minnesota's defense just grading 29th in defensive rebounding percentage. Boston putting up the 12th most threes. They are 10th in field goal percentage from 3-point range. Minnesota defense grading 27th. Russell was back for Minnesota in the last game. He came off the bench, played 24 minutes, obviously wasn't super sharp. Beasley is out here. My problem is that Boston is just so average. Like, they are like between the 10th and the 15th in basically 90% of the stats I'm tracking. It's really not a team that I would lay like 10 points with. But there is a small number edge here. And Minnesota, it's important to note that they need to finish in the bottom four because of this pick swap thingy. So if they finish outside of the bottom four, their pick will be kind of lost as it gets swapped with someone else, obviously, who won't finish as low as them. So yeah, they will be tanking like crazy. I think Boston wins. I think Boston covers, but my money won't be on the Celtics here. Chicago Bulls at the Atlanta Hawks. The Bulls, I'm really liking them. They won three straight. I think the improvements are showing. Finally, Lavin back. Obviously, Vooch playing great as always. I think the supporting cast is okay. They won't go on a big run this year, but I think this team has potential. And on the Atlanta side, the injuries, Collins and Hunter have been out for a while. I have been saying this, that Collins out isn't a huge minus, as Gallinari getting more minutes is good for this team. But Capella and Gallinari are both questionable here, and I think if either of those guys is out, the Hawks are in deep trouble. Obviously, Gallinari is super important with the scoring, and Capella, I think, is the most valuable player in this matchup. Hawks are 7th in offensive rebounding. The Bulls are the best defensive rebounding in this team. If Capella is out, I think that's a huge loss. Again, the Bulls are getting to the rim at the 7th highest rate in the league. They are 12th in field goal percentage within 4 feet of the rim. Hawks are traditionally a top 10 defense there if Capella is in again. Bulls, I think for defensively for the Bulls, this is a great matchup. They have a good perimeter defense against three-pointers. They are a good defense in the paint. This is a back-to-back for them with travel. As I said, they played 35-ish minutes last night, so pretty average load. I think at 2.5 there is slight value on the Bulls. I would like a flat 2.5. I think if either Gallinari or Capella is out, then this is a great bet, and I think at least one of those guys won't play. Bulls are really trying and they are healthy. Overall, I'm really liking this spot for Chicago despite the back-to-back. Philadelphia at New Orleans, 7.5 is the spread. This is a weird game. These two haven't played since this December of 2019, and these are the two teams with the best offensive rebounding and best offensive free throw rate in the league. We don't know how I think this will play out. And my biggest issue, that I don't like New Orleans. They are a pretty terrible defense overall, but they are allowing the 4th lowest field goal percentage against mid-range shots, and that's basically what Philly is shooting and almost nothing else. They are putting up the 4th least three-pointers in the league and the 10th least shots from the paint. I think Philly needs to change their usual approach up a bit to become more successful. If they shoot more threes or they just force attacking the paint, I think they can easily win this. But if they just keep doing what they normally do, I think this might be not as easy as expected. Injuries for the Pelicans: Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Hart are out. And Ball, Ingram, and Kyra Lewis Jr. are questionable. Obviously, that's again a huge chunk of quality players. Mainly Ingram. He missed multiple games now. I think he's close to coming back. My line with them out is around 7.5, 8, and 7.5 is the market line. So this line is clearly expecting Ingram not to play. So if he's in, there might be value on the Pelicans. But as I said, I'm staying away. I don't trust the Pelicans. They are a bad defense. But I think Philly would need to do some adjustments. But I mean, they are so much better defensively than they could easily still get the W and the cover here. And yeah, I'm high on Philly. I'm not liking the Pelicans, but this could be a trickier game than it seems on the surface. Charlotte Hornets at the Milwaukee Bucks, 9.5 is the spread. Hayward and Ball out for the Hornets. Milwaukee with Giannis questionable. They are on the back-to-back, lost to the Mavs last night. I'm not touching this game. I think this 9.5 is certainly a Giannis in number. So if he's out, I don't think this can be 9.5 on a back-to-back, even with the injuries to the Hornets. But the Hornets are, in my opinion, unbackable right now. They are 24th in offensive points per possession. Since Hayward and Ball are out, falling fast. They had multiple sub 90-point offensive showings in the last week. They now beat OKC, but I mean, that's OKC. Everyone beats them. So yeah, I think even if Giannis sits, this won't be a competitive game. And I would say in no way, shape, or form back the Hornets here. San Antonio Spurs at the Denver Nuggets, 6.5 is the spread, and I like the Nuggets here quite a bit. This is a rematch from 2 days ago. Denver closed -5 there, but they were on a back-to-back, and Murray was out. Murray is upgraded to questionable here. Hopefully he will play, but even if he is out, I think the matchup is great. Nuggets won the first game by 10. I said before the matchup that their rebounding advantage will be huge. They had a 35% offensive rebounding against 23% by the Spurs. That's an insanely big difference. Nuggets now won 7 straight. Spurs lost 4 straight. As I said, rebounding edge is just insane. The biggest improvement, I think, from the Nuggets since the trade deadline. Obviously, Gordon has been an amazing addition. Helps with the spacing. I think the chemistry is already great with Jokic. But yeah, the defense. The defensive improvements from the Nuggets. I mean, they are playing like a top 10 defense right now. We will see if this holds up in the playoffs, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And the Spurs defensively, they have been always known as a good defense, but through the last month, they graded in the bottom 10 to bottom 5 in points per possession allowed. In the last 2 weeks, they allow 118 points per 100 possessions. That's the 4th worst in the entire league. So yeah, if Murray is in, I make this 9.5, and I'm 100% on the Nuggets here. I'm really liking when they're heading, and I think we should have been taxed a little bit of extra for them being so successful, and we aren't. At least not yet, but I could see this getting traded around 7.5, even 8.5 on Pinnacle, especially if Murray is in. I think this hits 9. Washington Wizards at the Golden State Warriors, 4.5 is a spread. This will be a quick one. My spread is exactly 4.5. I would definitely lean towards the Wizards at this number, to be honest. Really, these are the same team. Neither team is good. Both are 3-7 in the last 10. Beal is back for the Wizards after a 5-game absence. He was playing in the last game. Wizards are 3rd in free throw rate, and that's a stat that they have been improving consistently. Golden State is giving up the most free throw attempts in the entire league. Wizards also with a bit better rebounding. Both teams have a game tomorrow. No way I would lay this with the favorite. Golden State, another team that is traditionally a good defense, but in points per possession, they are 29th defensively in the last 2 weeks. Wizards are 7th, by the way. So yeah, these are the same team, leaning towards the Wizards. My number is exactly 4.5. I won't touch it. Obviously, Wizards are tanking. You don't really know when they just will just stop giving any fucks here, but yeah, you cannot lay this with Golden State. Houston Rockets, 13.5 point dogs At the LA Clippers, my line here, if Kawhi and Paul George both playing, it is 14. Kawhi said that he's ready to go, but you never know with these guys. So yeah, Gordon still out for Houston, and John Wall won't play either. That warrants a small downgrade. Obviously, Wall had a nice game like 1 or 2 games ago when he came back and yeah, killed everyone. So yeah, this is the slate basically. As I said, I show value on the Knicks. Haven't played them, likely not playing them, but this number is wrong. I think Magic getting 4.5 is also wrong if anyone else besides Turner is out, but not touching that game either. Boston should be 9.5, not 8.5, but I'm not trusting Boston. Bulls, I really like them. Hopefully, either or both Capella and Gallinari sit out for the Hawks. Um, Denver Nuggets 6.5 is not enough, even if Murray sits, and I think he will play. To be honest, I'm leaning towards him playing. If he is in, I make this 9.5. So potentially a huge edge. If you want to gamble a bit, Wizards money line, I think I really could see them just beating the Golden State Warriors. That team is in really big trouble, and the vibes aren't really good. No matter what, if you look at what happens on the court, and if you listen to interviews and the beat writers, yeah, it's not looking great. All right, let's talk some MLB if you are ready. 9 game slate, as I said. Yeah, not a lot of great matchups, but I think there are some interesting games, and some might come into my range as a bet. All right, first game: New York Yankees at Tampa Bay. Kluber, Rich Hill. Yeah, not touching this one. Rich Hill isn't a guy I'm really liking. Middling starter, low velocity, lefty, was never really good. Once there was like a period like 1 or 2 years ago when he was kind of succeeding with good command, but it was really short-lived. He went 71 pitches in the first start. Tampa Bay will pull guys after 4 or 5 innings, especially early in the season. So you won't really get too much. He gave up 4 runs against the Miami Marlins. I mean, yeah, you don't really want to risk him against the Yankees. Kluber on the other side, he also went just 4 innings, but had 5 Ks, 10 whiffs. Yeah, velocity was down on his fastball, like almost 2 miles per hour. It's something I will be monitoring, not getting involved here. I want to see more of Hill. Maybe he will get it together. I mean, he could be serviceable. Obviously, not against the Yankees. And yeah, I really want Kluber to succeed, to be honest. Rays have been struggling mightily in the early going, not just offensively, bullpen also. And this is traditionally a really good bullpen, but they just cannot really put it together. Washington at LA Dodgers. Ross at Bueller, almost minus 300. Obviously, we are not laying that. Bueller looked amazing in his first start, 90 pitches. He had 9 whiffs. Yeah, the swinging strike thing wasn't really good, but he was pitching at Coors Field. Extremely difficult place to pitch at. Ross, yeah, I'm not touching anything related to this guy. He opted out of last season. He pitched, I think, the last time like 2 weeks ago in spring training. Obviously, he pitched a simulated game, but like a quarter of Washington's roster is out due to COVID. Our guy wasn't pitching last year. Yeah, it's a huge no-no. In 2019, sorry, he had like an 11% walk rate, 5.4 ERA, nothing I really would want to get involved, and obviously minus 300 on LA kind of tells you the story of this game. Colorado at San Francisco, Gomber at Cueto. I'm kind of liking Johnny here, to be honest. He seems healthy to me, and health was really his first and most important issue always. I think he kind of took care of that stuff. He went over 100 pitches in his first outing. at Seattle. Had 7 Ks, 17 whiffs. I think he looked okay. Obviously, against the Mariners, it's not too difficult to look okay. But I mean, the Rockies aren't too much better than the Mariners. Yeah, so I'm liking I'm liking Johnny here and San Francisco overall. I make this minus 150, but it's honestly a game that I would probably bet if this would get to. Yeah, fuck this. Line started moving a bit towards San Fran. This opened up like minus 135 or something. If you got that, I mean, I'm a bit jealous. So yeah, Johnny, yeah, he had a 67% left on base rate in the first game. Batted ball luck was extremely bad, but overall, just San Francisco, the better team here, more talented, way smarter, into sabermetrics. They are one of the unluckiest teams so far. 233 batting average on balls in play. This is exactly the same roster as last year's, and they were one of the top offenses against lefties. That's important to note. Gomber, the Colorado starter, is a lefty. Giants had a 127 WRC plus against lefties with a 221 ISO. Yeah, I think the matchup is great. Colorado is a team to fade on the road anyways. Gomber, in the first outing, he went against the Dodgers, 3 innings, 1 earned. He had 2 Ks and 5 whiffs. 7 walks. 7 walks. How do you give up 7 walks in 3 innings? But this was a guy last year, he had a 13% walk rate. So that's not something that's like a one-time issue or something that I'm expecting him to fix. I think the Giants know this. I think they know that they can be patient against this guy. They will get the free passes. I really like the Giants here. As I said, I don't show value from a number perspective, but I think as a matchup, this is as good as it gets. LA Angels at Toronto. Heaney at Timothy James Zoich, I think. German name probably. So yeah, starter isn't confirmed on MLB.com yet, so I'm not sure what's happening there. I read it at some spots that Matt is making the start, but he's supposed to start tomorrow. So I don't know about that. So let's talk about Heaney. He went 3 innings in the first start, 70 pitches. Basically, he had two nice innings, and then he kind of blew up, gave up a grand slam, and then things went sideways after that. His velocity was down. He was stretched out to 70 plus pitches. I think I'm not extremely high on Heaney, but he I think is a top 100 pitcher, like the typical 4 ERA guy. Last year he had a 4.0 Sierra, 25% K rate, over a 12% swinging strike rate. He's very strong against lefties. Sadly, this is a righty-heavy lineup. Similarly to the White Sox he just pitched against. Yeah, and no Springer is kind of helping his case. I think I wouldn't really take away too much from the first start. So I'm looking to back Heaney here. I think if the market is downgrading him based on that first start against the White Sox, I think that's not right. This ballpark, I mean, is playing super small. We've seen last year. I've read a lot about like center field being like super short. It's easy to hit the ball out. Maybe there will be an angle playing either the Angels or Jays team total under or just game under if we are not getting Mr. Zoy here. So yeah, speaking of the Mets pitcher, he went 4 innings, had 1K in his first outing against the Yankees. He has 35 innings in the MLB overall, 4+ FIP, nothing special really. He's not a huge K guy, just 14% K rate on average, 52% ground ball rate. Nothing that really gets me excited, but if we get Mets here, I'm going for the under, especially if Ohtani is out of the lineup. We will see that. So yeah, this is a game I would probably look at later. Check the odds, check who is starting, check if Ohtani is in the lineup or not. I think maybe after a high-scoring game yesterday, this could be an under game. I'm kind of liking Heaney. All right, Detroit at Cleveland. Julio Teheran at Zach Plezak. Yeah, I'm not laying minus 200 with Cleveland. Like, I don't do that thing. That offense is super bad. Plezak in the first start, he went 6 innings, and on the surface it looks okay. But his changeup and slider, the two secondary pitches, earned just 2 whiffs on 43 attempts, which is extremely bad. Obviously, this could be just fixed to the next game, but he's pitching against the same team back to back. I don't like to back pitchers in these spots. Julio Teheran, on the other end, this guy was a disaster last season. 10 plus ERA. His Sierra was around 6, 1.7 whip. He had a 13% K rate, a 10% walk rate, 6% swinging strike ratio. Against lefties, he had a 10 plus FIP, and he was averaging like 3 innings because he was shelled so many times. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. First outing, 5 innings, only gave up 1 earned against the same Cleveland team. But I mean, Cleveland is just so bad. I'm not backing Tehran either. He had 3 walks. We know about his walk issues. It has been going on for years, but you cannot lay minus 200 with Cleveland here. Philly at Atlanta, Wheeler at Morton. This is another rematch. Same matchup was played 2 days ago. Or 2 days ago, sorry. NBA habits. So yeah, like 4 days ago. We flipped the venue. So the first matchup was in Philly, and Atlanta closed as a minus 110 favorite. Now they are laying minus 125. So basically a 3% win probability added. I think that's completely fair. Atlanta is kind of struggling right now offensively. They are the second worst in WRC plus, but we know how powerful this team is. And I think Morton, although the first outing of Wheeler was better in this one, I think Morton, what we saw from Morton is really promising. His velocity was at 95 miles per hour. He had a 42% called strikes plus whiffs. He went almost 80 pitches. I think he's looking good. Obviously, Wheeler had a 7 inning outing, 10 Ks, great fastball. I'm grading Wheeler a bit higher than Morton, but I think obviously Atlanta is a bit better team than Philly. I think the line is super fair. I'm liking both arms. Yeah, I won't have a stock here on either side. San Antonio, San Diego at Texas, Musgrove at Arihara. Yeah, Joey Musgrove was rolling in the first start against Arizona. 6 innings, 8 Ks, 44% caught strikes plus whips. Yeah, he added extra velocity, has a strong pitch mix, a real top arm. I'm loving that he's at San Diego and finally at a spot where he can succeed. And yeah, I'm sad that he is not with the Pirates on one hand, but I mean this is really where he should have been earlier. I think he is a great arm. Obviously, he's priced like minus 185 on the road. Texas, one of the worst teams in the league. Obviously, Arihara, Japanese pitcher. He has 1 MLB start. He had 1K in 5 innings, just a 19% call strikes plus whiffs. Not getting involved here. Oakland at Houston, Sean Manaea, Lance McCullers Jr. I think this is again a rematch. Same matchup was played a few days ago. McCullers looking real good. 5 innings. He had 7 Ks. He has a new slider. He's missing bats with it and is looking kind of awesome. He went 95 pitches in his first outing. I don't think there is more you can ask for, really. You know that I'm very low on Oakland. They are in the bottom 3 in all offensive stats so far. Bullpen is 29th in xWhip. Not looking good for them early on. Sean Manaea had a 4 inning outing. He gave up 5 earned runs, 3 walks on 101 pitches in just 4 innings. Yeah, I'm not writing him down. he was a really good pitcher like 2 3 years ago. Yeah, last year wasn't really going well for him. But overall, I mean, he still had last season a 50% ground ball rate, super low walk rate at 3.6%. Um, only a 30% fly ball rate, but yeah, he was hurt by hard contact, and his exit velocity was terrible. I think he's able to fix that. I still kind of believe in him. Obviously, not in this matchup. I mean, repeat matchup against the Houston team that's amazing offensively. Yeah, it's difficult. All right, Cincinnati at Arizona, Tyra Malley at Taylor Widener. I think yeah, it's kind of this is a repeat matchup. Also, I'm not sure about that. All right, Mali. No, he pitched against the Cardinals 5 innings in his first outing, 9 Ks. He was up to 84 pitches. This is a guy who had problems pitching deep into games and with his pitch count. So it's really nice to see him going above 80. 36% call strikes plus whips. I think that's kind of promising. This Arizona team is pretty bad. I think, yeah, since it should be road favorites. Taylor Widener, again, one of those bullpen arms turned starters. He went 6 innings in his first start with no earned runs allowed against the Padres. I don't think that's something that he can repeat. He had 3 walks, 10 whiffs, 38% call strikes plus whiffs. Yeah, he's an okay guy, but I mean, if you look at his stats from last season, 4.5 ERA, 4.6 SIERA, he had a 14% walk rate. Pretty high hard contact, and he got really lucky. Like 196 batted ball average on balls in play, 86% left on base rate. Yeah, he's really nothing special. Like I think he will end up somewhere between 4.5 and 5 ERA, and this is not a guy you really want to back. All right. Summing it up, yeah, as I said, not too much really. I really like the Giants. I think this is kind of like a borderline play. I'm hoping this line gets better, but might play it anyway. Everything really sets up well. I like Heaney. I think the first bad game might have been a fluke. We will see. Depending on the Toronto starter, I might be on the under, or I might be on the Angels if we get a good price. Otherwise, not really anything else. Maybe I will follow the Philly Atlanta game. This is definitely a game I will watch. If we get a move on Philly based on Wheeler's good first start, I might fade that. I'm liking Atlanta, and obviously they started the season weaker. Morton didn't have such a flashy outing as Wheeler had, so we could see some line move on Philly. All right, that's it for today. Wow, 37 minutes. This is kind of fast. Good stuff. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will be off for the weekend. This is the new setup, so fixed streaming schedule from Monday to Friday. I will be back Monday. Good luck on your wagers. If you want to tear mine, I'm putting up my picks to this Discord channel even on weekends. You can go to patreon.com/thebarrelzone and join the crew. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for tuning in.